What's going on, everybody? This is me, Peter Lucas. I've got Nate with me today, who the not I should just call him non-social media Nate. like and But today we're talking 49ers and Rams, and this is the Odd Couple podcast. Hey, everybody, welcome back. And hey, Nate, how's it going this week? And how are you feeling going into this game?
Well, we're a little healthier. I guess if we have one thing on the upswing for the Rams, we kind of have the opposite thing going that you do. As you guys are getting a little more beat up, we're getting a little healthier. We get Van Jefferson back. We get Brian Allen back. We got Troy Hill back. And we got one of our rotational D linemen, Bobby Brown. That's not a whole lot of a factor in the game, but definitely the other three are going to play a role. And we'll see, bud.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's a really big game for the 49ers because we're 3-4 at this point. And at this point, the Seahawks are first place in the NFC West. But 49ers are still undefeated. Are still undefeated in the NFC West. I don't see how that even works. So I want to start with just talking about, you just spoke on the injuries, and you guys got some key pieces coming back. We're limping into our bye week, and after this game, but it's a huge day. It's a huge bundle. We just lost Debo. We found out today Debo's going to be out. We found out, I think, Jawan Jennings maybe a game time decision, but I think he might be out too. Juice is out, Juice check, and I'm trying to think of any more. There's just so many at this point that it's going to be interesting to see how the 49ers kind of patch this whole team together and get with you guys. You guys are coming fresh off a bye. You should be well rested. Like you said, you got some pieces coming back, but how confident are you coming in about this game?
It's a game with you guys. What do I have to be confident about? These are 2 of the 4 weeks a year that Jimmy Garoppolo looks like an NFL quarterback. Are the 2 weeks he plays the Rams? I don't know why. I don't know why we're able to shut down much better quarterbacks, or definitely limit much better quarterbacks. But for whatever reason, he just looks better against us. With that being said, he won't have his traditional 5-yard slant that Debo takes 70 yards this time. So he won't get to look quite as good against us, I guess. I'll have to get a little more creative. Yeah. I'll be intrigued to see how we handle McCaffrey. That's obviously a brand new matchup for everybody in the NFC West. We also, while we are getting healthier, we did lose Joe Noteboom. So now we have one of our swing guards heading out to play left tackle, which is never a good thing. So again, we're
losing you. You're cutting in and out. I know you're driving.
You're on the matrix. What it is. We're, like I said, with now no booms out, so we have a swing guard taking his place, so we do have that to contend with. And I don't see the game a whole lot differently. Losing Debo probably takes a splash play or 2 away from you against us, but our offense against your defense, I don't know. I don't see a massive difference happening here. I just don't. I'll have to see it happen. If the Rams come out and beat you 27-10, then I guess we'll know. But I can't put a finger on this team. Outside of having no O-line, I just can't put a finger on this team. Nothing works Nothing seems to look good. Um, Luckily for us, we had Arizona, Atlanta, and Carolina in the front half. If you would have flip flopped our schedule, we could be 1-5 right now, easy.
Yeah.
So, Rams Niners, we beat it into the floor every year, dude. Like, you beat us all the time, and it's not. It's sometimes it's a very close game. Sometimes it's usually in Frisco. It's been more of a blown out, like a blown out situation lately. Here, the games have been close. Obviously, we got the really important one on you guys, but I expect to see much of the same dogfight. Really, it's going to come down to what do the Rams do in the second half, because all of our games are close in the first half. They always are. And then the second half is when your physicality always takes the game over. And what are the Rams going to do in the second half? I mean, I haven't seen anything from us that makes me think that even with your injuries that we're going to go in and walk over you. We'll have to see how things gel out, man. Like I'm hunting for something to say that's going to make me feel better about it, or some matchup that's. I mean, it doesn't matter what we have. Yeah. I mean, we're Super Bowl champs that got regular season swept by you, blew a 17-point lead in game 2, and then had to come back and scrap to a win. Like, it doesn't matter who's on the field. It really doesn't seem to matter anymore. Yeah. Like, you guys have just had our number. And again, like, I don't think matchups even matter at this point. It's just a question of what team comes out and plays what game in the second half.
Yeah, I would say that you have a much better chance in this matchup than you did earlier in the season. Like, it's going to be a completely different defense that you're facing. Like, we're very hurt in the middle of our defense. We lost Emmanuel Mosley for the year, which means that we're not going to be playing press man, and like we did in the first matchup. And they're not going to be. Hafunga's not going to be flying all over the place because he's going to have different responsibilities now, and
right.
And it just looks way different. You're going to see more of the secondary that we had last year, and so.
Oh, you mean when you swept us?
Well, we did, but still, it's well, like I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, it won't be in the first game. We like, the defense was pretty sound. Like, there was no there wasn't really much y'all could do against us in the first game. But but now it's a completely different. I expect this to be close, and it's gonna be really hard for the 49ers to score points because we don't know what the game plan is going to be. Kyle has stopped running the ball. Not one of our running backs has more than 8 carries in the last 2 games. He's all of a sudden has Jimmy throwing the ball 37 and 41 times. And we don't really know what our identity is at this point, because Kyle just won't allow it to be what we've come accustomed to. He's just kind of going by and now I guess we're all expecting McCaffrey to just really fix this offense, but we're all just sitting here waiting for an identity to show up. And I don't think that McCaffrey is going to give that to us. I think he could help, but it all depends on what the game plan is going to be. And the defense, D'Amico, I have faith in D'Amico. At the same time, I think it's going to be a lot of what we saw last year, where they're just kind of keeping teams at bay and just letting them get yards, but tightening up in the red zone. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot of.
Right. I mean, our last game was like that. I mean, we were able to move between the 20s a bit. We got in the red zone 3 times, got 3 field goals. I mean, it's it's going to be about finishing drives. It's going to be about coming out in the second half with punch. The one time in the last 4 years where we've played you guys with punch in the second half was in the NFC Championship game. That's the only time. We've come out flat, and your adjustments, and McVay is a coach that does not adjust well. This is not a man that adjusts well. he puts together his game plan and he expects it to be better than you. And when it's not, the Rams are not a big comeback team. This is not a team that's prone to crawling out of holes and digging their way out. I mean, I can think back to the last 2-3 games at Lambeau, games where the Packers weren't more talented than we were, but they just jumped on us early, and then boom, like McVay's reeling, McVay's backpedaling. And again, I would love to be able to get some separation from you guys, but even if we do, we got to keep the gas pedal on. We saw that debacle in Week 17 last year. I mean, the Rams smoked you for 28 minutes and then just absolutely fell apart. And we got to find the second half gas pedal. To me, that's the only discussion we have in this game. Matchups, we can beat it up all day. I expect him to get McCaffrey more involved in the passing game, especially with Debo being gone, because Debo is absolutely your gadget player. No question about that. I expect him to get McCaffrey in some different looks. Christian McCaffrey 2022 doesn't scare me all that much. There's guys who scare me a lot more. I thought you guys gave up a lot for him. I really did.
We did. Another thing that I didn't agree with.
Yeah, it just seems like that was a big price to pay for a guy that, I mean, really has given us a year and a half of really good service in the NFL. I mean, he was a fantasy gem for 22 games, but what's he done since? I mean, it's not been the greatest, career for him. Injuries. And
I will say that he hadn't even read the playbook. He went to a walkthrough practice right after he got traded, and he actually looked really good, like in the last game. I mean, I was almost hoping that they gave him more touches, and they said they were going to limit his touches in the first game, but they ended up limiting everybody's touches, and it was just. But he looked really good. I was really impressed by, and I hope that we start to see a little bit more of that outside zone come make its way back. Shanny has been intent on running this inside zone and running the ball right into the teeth of the defense, and it's just not really working out for us. But we'll see what the game plan is. It's week 8 and we don't know what our identity is still. So I mean,
look at the NFC West, dude. I mean, we're at 3-3. You're at 3-4. Like you said, I mean, Geno Smith's the best quarterback in our freaking division right now, which
that's insane.
Nobody could have predicted that. I mean, there wouldn't have. If you went to Vegas with those odds at the start of the year, you'd be retired right now, Holmes, and so would I. Yeah, so I mean, nothing we discussed in our preview has come to fruition at all. We expected a runaway battle between us. And instead, what we've gotten is this sort of, I don't know what it is, man. But
it sucks because now Arizona's gotten their weapons back. And I thought that we would have space in between us by this time. And I expected it to be us and you guys. And now we're in a must-win game in week 8, before we go into the bye. And it's disheartening, I would say. We're not really confident in Shanny right now. A lot of the fans aren't, and it's our fandom is at an all-time. I would say, I shouldn't say all-time, but it's at a pretty low spot for the season. And going into this season, we thought it was going to be Trey Lance, and it was just going to be a crazy looking offense, and we got none of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But, hey, brother. Well, hey, bud.
Yeah,
I hate to cut you short, but I got a jet.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And we're gonna cut it short, guys, today. But I'll be back on to do my pregame on Sunday right before the game. So look out for that. And but I appreciate you guys coming, Damien. I appreciate you coming in and listen and watching. And hey, brother, I'll see you next week.
Absolutely, brother. We'll do a post game for sure, and we'll take some more time. We'll get caught up on the rest of the division, and we'll get more into it for sure. All right, bud.
All right, guys. Have a go.
Thank you, guys.
Go Niners. All right. Nate's gone, but I just wanted to make sure that I said, hey, look out. It was a pretty short show today because Nate had some scheduling issues, but I wanted to make sure that we got a chance to go um into the main matchups. I wanted him to talk about the Rams a little bit and to see what we were going to be seeing going into the game. But I'll be talking more about it when we go into the pregame on Sunday. But keep an eye out for that. I really appreciate you guys coming on. But you guys have a good night.